morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Monica Henderson, and I am here with Mink Life Motivation Live. This week on Mink Life Motivation Live, we are focused on customer recommendation. So to help me craft this conversation, we have Miss Andrea Gewurz. She is the Wellness Thrive Strategist at Wellbeing and Worth, and also Mink Life Motivation Master Trainer and Dean of Mink Life University. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, in case I forget. Let's get started.
And also to help us craft this conversation, we have Peggy MacArthur. She is a owner and photographer at Headshots by Peggy, headshot strategist, and the Mink Life Motivation Trainer for the Brand Builder. What's up, Peggy?
Hey, good to be here.
And I think I have these out of order. You are the co-host off the couch, unless I did not share it. Hold on one sec. We have another co-host. I'm actually going to fix this right now. Sorry about that. It's hidden. We've been having so many technical difficulties today. That one right there. And I want to make sure we give our co-host, so you just go ahead and make it big.
Yep.
There we go. Our co-host in studio, who looks like she's at the same house with with Andrea, but they are not. I promise you. She is the CEO of Speaker Stephanie LLC. She empowers women to get more out of life, relationships, jobs, etc. Just more, period. And her fun fact is she loves karaoke. Welcome to the show, Stephanie Wall.
Hey,
Hello. I was getting ready to start singing "What's Love Got to Do with It." All
I
right.
was going to ask you, is that your go-to? What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my! Anything that has Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight.
Anything Gladys
Oh,
Knight. Anything. Oh my God! Neither one of us is the go-to because it just
Oh, yeah.
I can just get into spirit. Get
you
into character.
have
there.
her that kind of sonorous voice. I could hear you saying "Midnight Train to Georgia." That's my song.
Oh, that too. Ooh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and so we have
We've
our
derailed
co-host.
the show and it hasn't started.
We have our co-hosts on the couch, and they're already chiming in. And so, obviously, Irina Sturina is one of our co-hosts that are always on the couch, and she said, "Hey, Stephanie."
Hey, Arena.
I would like to ask my co-hosts who are here all the time, what is your go-to karaoke song? Come on.
No. I go to the restroom when it's my turn. The karaoke is what I go to.
Can I tell you? I've never been.
I'm
to
like,
karaoke
I'll go
in
get drinks
America.
for the table.
No way.
I've never been to karaoke in America.
But you've been to karaoke where?
In Korea and the Philippines, but I've never been to karaoke here.
Okay, we got goals. And you don't sing. Come on, Arena.
Come on now. So I feel like if you went on stage and sung something from Gladys Knight, I think Andrea would join you because we did a road trip for my birthday, and we had an entire moment with on the midnight train to Georgia.
That would be my song. I swear,
People in that passenger seat getting it. That's just singing along. I think that would probably be.
I think you're right. I feel like Peggy.
I'd be a pip.
There's
I'd be
songs in my
anything.
head. I feel like you would be right there with me.
And Peggy got a mean finger dance. She will hook up your finger dancing all day, every day.
No backup singers. Can I get some?
Monica and I could be pips. Pipette.
Oh yeah, I got your. I will do it all for you.
We take so many things we could do. So many. I think we can make it happen.
Oh well, I was so excited to have you on the show today because we just finished the London conference and where you graced the stage and hooked us up. And it was so much fun. And so I'm just excited to kind of share you to a broader audience as well. And so we're going to dive into the show and really understand how to get motivated. And we're just going to start with our first question. So our first question is, I got all these controls I got to do, is why is customer recommendation so imperative in networking? And so, because I just gave y'all the questions really recently, let's have Andrea start with this one.
I was going to say, well, since I participated in this panel in the conference, I'll start. So, why is it imperative? It's imperative for the number one reason to take down while you're out networking, take out the resistance of when you meet a new person. And it's not resistance per se, it's the wariness of not knowing who's who. So if your reputation through a someone networking with you who's also a customer and knows your work, it will open up the doors for you to enjoy getting to know the people there already with a sense of them that already knowing you or someone vouching for you. And this is very powerful when you're out networking because when you ask a question or something like that. And I'll give an example. If I'm out networking with Monica, I know her very well. I know her products very well, and people have a problem. And if I can offer Monica as the solution, and Monica's in the room, and I can connect them, what a powerful synergy! It's happening right away. And so, the more your recommendation, of course, obviously being good, it's very easy to network out in the world with other people, especially when they're there and they could benefit from, you're saying, oh, yeah, you should talk to so and so, right? You should talk to Stephanie. She's a great singer. Let's go to karaoke. Like right there, the karaoke party would start. I mean, we just do it naturally. And so if you think about that when you're out doing it for work or about your professional self. And I mean, let's face it, ladies, do we ever feel like we're off? No, no. Because
No.
we're always kind of on, because we're always kind of solving a problem or making sure that, I mean, I could be someplace else and be like, oh, my child needs headshots. Oh, you know what? Call my friend Peggy. And they're going to just call my friend Peggy because I said so. That is the
Mhm.
power of third party and why a recommendation is so just, it gets the
Thanks.
job done so quick. So.
Yeah, Stephanie, what you want to chime in on what Andrea was
Oh my
saying?
gosh. Andrew is all on my street, as the pastor say. She all up on my street. But let me say, but let me tell you, here's the deal. Just I want you to everybody here, everybody listening, just imagine whatever it is. I the other day was like, oh my gosh, I needed someone to help me repair something in my house. And we got the books. We can go to the books, we can figure out who it is. But I called up two or three people and I said, hey, who do you use to do this, and this? They gave me like 10 referrals. I went forth and contacted those resources because I trust the people I got it from. So when you're networking, imagine being in a room and you like, I don't really know anybody. I'm trying to build some reputation. I'm trying to build myself. As Andrea already said, if the credibility, you need credibility going in the room. As a new speaker, when I was a new speaker, you kept folks would I was attaching myself to great people I believe to be great. So to help get some credibility because they already had notoriety. Well, now, bam, folks are attaching themselves to me. But here's the deal: I have to have the receipts right now every time. Hello, from Maryland, toot. If you don't have what we call the receipts, y'all been hearing it. If I don't care what your service you provide, I don't care what products you have, if nobody knows about them, and if there's not somebody else in the big room or another room that say, you know what, Stephanie or Andrea or Peggy or Monica, whatever it is they said that they do, that's exactly what they did. This is how it worked for me. Then you have zero credibility and they will not do business with you. It's about relationships. Build the relationships. Boom.
Where's your mic,
I
Peggy?
know. It's in the studio. It's in the studio. For the conference, I had an old mic that we were literally dropping. Um, yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what it is. Because who are you? You can say, especially today in the day and age we live at, there are so many professionals and experts because they wrote that in their profile and they have nothing to back it up. And we see that over and over and over. Okay, in my profession, I'm a award-winning published photographer. That really doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm an award-winning published photographer. I won my first award when I was 14 years old in the 4-H fair. What does that tell you about my career today? Absolutely nothing. So a lot of times people put
Sorry.
all these accreditations and awards and fancy labels in their profile, which is a lie or is not a lie, but doesn't really mean anything. It's empty words. But if I'm to say, oh, Stephanie, she's what she said she is, then there's power behind it. It's not just fancy words written on a profile. It's actually powerful. It actually means something. So those are, that's why it's so important to have people raving about you.
My
Huge.
one of my favorite things that happens in networking, and people who know me knows that I do a lot of networking. I'm always at someone's networking event, meeting new people, and one of the favorite things that I love is every now and then I'll get a one-to-one, and someone will say, you know, three people told me I needed to talk to you, so that's why I'm sitting here today, right? Like they heard it. They heard my name come out of three different people's mouths, and they saw me right at these networking events before. I've said my pitch just like everybody else did, but it took the recommendation of three other people for them to sit in my chair and give me the time of day. So the power of customer recommendations and recommendations of people is huge. It makes the biggest difference if someone wasn't even considering you based on anything else you had going on. They're going to consider you that much more, and especially if it comes from multiple sources. So it's so important to your networking to make sure that you are having that recommendation of peers and colleagues and people who have worked with you, even if it's on a way that all of us work together, right? Where we, well, technically, I have used their services as far as actually using their services, but Stephanie and I have never actually done business, me working in her business. However, I know the power of Stephanie because I've seen her in action on my own conference. I've been able to work with her through that process. She's a woman of excellence. And so I can easily recommend her to someone for what her services are because of the power and the connectivity that we had in working through the conference space. So those customer recommendations are not something to shy away from, but really something to kind of lean into because that's going to make the difference between you being a no one, which I always still consider myself a no one. So when someone like someone's like, I heard so much about you, it's like, really? Where? I don't understand. Even though you can Google me and there's like all kinds of stuff there. I'm on 52 weeks out of the year we're doing this show. So obviously there's quite a bit out there for me, but you still feel like almost a celebrity when someone comes and they're sitting in your chair and they're like, I've heard so much about you, and this person was saying that you're this and you're that. It just feels good as well. So that is really why the customer recommendations are important. So if you're watching the show right now and you have some thoughts on why customer recommendations are so important, feel free to drop that in the chat, as you are also a co-host on the couch and we want to know what you think. So this part
Monica,
of, oh, did you want to chime
I
in
just
some more?
want to add one more point. One more point, and I think
Okay.
I said it when we were on the show. Um, is that, and of course, your recommendations every time you do business with someone, you should be asking for a video, not just a written one, a picture and a video. Hey, give them a little script. Because if they say they love your business, they tell you they love it. I love, oh my God, Andrea, what you did for me, blah, blah, blah. That's wonderful, but the world needs to know. So ask them,
Mm-hmm.
do you mind putting that on video? And that becomes something you share with the world because they, according to the data, it's like between 80 and 90% of the people that do business with anyone in the world, they first check the reviews. They want to see referrals. So when they go on your page or your website or wherever they find you, they not only want to see you doing what you say that you're doing, but if they see another person saying, I've worked with Monica, and before I began working with Monica, I wasn't good in this area. But after working with Monica, I am this. I'm better at this. Bing, bing, ding, 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 ding. I'm going with Monica because that person, not only does she say, I see a picture of her. They say you have to see a picture is great. Words written is awesome. but being phenomenal is an actual them actually hearing the person's voice and seeing their picture. So take that to the bank and go ahead and make your business grow.
Just dropping tips before we even get to that segment. I love it.
Sorry.
All right. So we in this show have a segment called Stay Inspired, and one of the things that we do in the show is we give an opportunity for our speakers, our guest co-hosts, to actually share a little bit of their entrepreneurish journey. And I was so excited that Stephanie was the only one who decided to be on the show today, because then we get to give her the full 3 minutes to talk about what her journey is. I know you guys are going to be inspired by her journey. And this is really because we want you to understand that you're not in business alone. You're not the only one who's been through some struggles. And there is light on the other side. And I know Stephanie is going to be able to really kick us off with staying inspired. So, Stephanie, go ahead and share your story.
All right, all right. So listen, I know there's somebody on here right now that maybe launched 2020. Boy, the pandemic launched you right into your entrepreneurship. You jumped out there. You got your LLC. You got your graphics. You might even put a little website. And I hate to say the word little, but you know how we do. Little, everything's little's on everything. But you put everything together. You launched out there. You had your Facebook page. Bam! You went out there and you put a title. I'm a coach. I'm a speaker. I'm a consultant. I'm a whatever I am, and then you found out that it is really work. You also found out that you bought this tool, you did that thing, you did all of these things, but you didn't really consult with a coach, a business coach, or somebody. You didn't read a book on how I actually should put this together. You did what I did. You put the cart all the way in front of the horse, and now the horse you couldn't go anywhere because you have a block. I'm here to tell you, been there, done it. If I really took in my camera and went around my office and showed you all the tools, or went online and showed you all the apps and tools that I bought, that I thought that I needed to start my business, because I was addicted to the processes instead of the plan, instead of actually doing the work. That is with Stephanie Wall, who was getting it all. So yes, I started out of Speaker Stephanie launched because she was an author. She was an author who had a book that she wrote in 2014. And the first time somebody said, why would you write and tell your story? Shut down, never to speak about it again, because shame and blame and fear, and fear is nothing but a lack of something. You feel like you're lacking a skill, you're lacking something. So I lacked the skills to move forward. I lacked the ability to tell folks what was really going on, because I was fearful of the truth. I was fearful of what I put in the book being known to people that knew me personally, because it was now removing my mask. So that once the pandemic hit, quite frankly, it reminded me of all of because I was home more in my office, looking at all of the goal posters, or however you want to call them, right? And that launched me, and that launched me out there, because I launched 1 million lives transformed, because I realized that I went through a process. I was the butterfly. I went through the process. I crawled before I walked. I failed a lot. I failed a lot, but I didn't stop moving, because I believe what Brene Brown and all the other people say about you failing forward. I believed what Bob Proctor said, that change is inevitable, but that personal development is a choice. So I chose me. I chose to find people. I chose to invest in myself, not just in things, but I invested in the things that I needed to grow my business. And what I needed to be, I said I was a speaker. Yes, I could talk. I could put some words together, but speaking is more than just talking. Speaking is actually an art. And there's a process, and there's art to it. There's ups and downs. The way you talk, how you project, when you use your emotion, when you use your hands, those things matter. I said I was a coach, because most speakers are oftentimes coaching from the stage, whatever that stage looks like. So I actually went and got a certification for coaching in different areas, from life coach to transformation. And then I realized what was my passion. I transformed my life. And so I was committed to transforming the lives of other women, particularly other women that experienced trauma, particularly other women that experienced domestic violence, who were living in a place where they were the great pretenders. because I found that many of us could not live in our excellence because we were so busy. As Les Brown says, we can't live our dreams because we're so busy living our fears. That was me. I sat in the room looking like I had it all together, but I was pretending. You know what that's called? It's called imposter syndrome. Many people, many humans experience it. So I made it my business. So with Speaker Stephanie, you see a little, you can see it there. That's where I started. So I am Speaker Stephanie. That is the name of the company, Speaker Stephanie LLC. But I am the CEO of 1 Million Lives Transformed because I'm transforming lives, relationships, and finances. Because without those three things in order, and things are not in order in your life, your business will fail. It will fail. You have to network. You have to be out there. But before you can do any of those things, you have to address your mindset. And so that's where Speaker Stephanie and 1 Million Lives Transformed comes in. Because those things, listen, transform your mind. Nothing changes until you do. So
Oh
change
yeah.
your mind and then go on and change everybody else's life. Legacy is created. Legacy is created.
Thank you for sharing that so much. Andre, did you want to like share your
I'm
thoughts?
in. What is there to say? No. Like, I'm really glad that I heard the whole story because I wasn't at the whole conference for London, right? So I saw all of these dynamic people. I was like, "What she does? Wonder what she does." So I just found out what you do, which is amazing. I love hearing your story. So and plus you're from Maryland, yeah, where I grew up. Hello, snaps. So I'm a fan
Yeah.
anyway.
And my husband, if he was, my husband grew up in Baltimore also. And, I lived in Howard County. I've lived here my entire life. I had to leave my town to find me a husband. As my mama said, find me a husband, because everybody here is related to me. Like,
Mm,
seriously. And so so I learned that folks from Baltimore, there's a couple things that's a big deal. What high school did you attend? Right? The high school was like serious. He went to Poly, like, and it's like pop, right?
Right.
And what high school did you attend? Where you live in Baltimore, and like, all the greats from Baltimore are still talked about. So where did you grow up in Baltimore, Andrea? What high school did you attend?
I grew up in Charles Village, and I went to Baltimore School for the Arts. So
Oh, he went there.
so she was
He
like,
played piano.
"Oh, I know
I'm
all about
telling
you.
you,
Trust
I'm
me,
not from
Lucius.
Baltimore yet. I know these things. You see, both awesome sauce. Thank you.
Baltimore is
Thank you.
small like that." So, and I
yeah.
went to Western for 1 year, right, which is right next door to Poly. So,
Yes. Do I
I
listen? My cousin Sharon, she went to Western, so you were a dove.
for
I
a
know
minute,
about that. I
for a
see.
minute. You're like you were like, "What's going on here?" It's a
So
Baltimore.
Peggy and I are just gonna we're just gonna go.
You're
We're
just-
just gonna leave you to have
you
your.
guys have your. This is.
We don't need to
Sorry.
interrupt.
That is what you just saw was from Monica. This is how Baltimore, for me moving to the West Coast, this is exactly what I missed.
Mm,
Because
Oh,
she's Monica's heard me say my transition here to the West Coast has been weird. I mean, but wonderful. I birthed some businesses, birthed a baby. I have transformed 500 times. So that's all been great. But in that space of transformation, there's always that pain of growth that's
yeah.
positive at the end. But one of the things that I was over the weekend, met some more people from Baltimore. Same thing just happened. Same thing just happened. So when I say that East Coast style of connecting I missed it so much. I would fly home 2, 3 times a year just to touch into that energy so I could come here and be by myself. And then I met y'all. So it's different. I can go and I can meet them and like ran to the beach and just filled my cup up with some real live people, and that is so
And
much like I don't know
sunshine. Don't
Stephanie,
forget.
but she's my girl, and when I'm in
I'm trying
Baltimore,
to
I'm like, hey, let's go get a project, let's go downtown, blah blah blah. That's me, or so it's gonna
For
My
happen.
sister does
sure.
the same thing. She does the same thing. She's literally coming home twice. She's coming home on the 10th and coming home again afterwards. And she lives in Atlanta, so she's still on the East Coast, but she kind of misses it. And I will tell you that one of my coaches, my a branding coach actually, he one of the things he said, and some others, was like, don't ever change the way you are,
Mm-hmm.
because who like how you talk is it's your signature tone. It's who you are, and your energy. Like sometimes you think you need to change your energy, particularly as a speaker. You want to tamper it down. No, that is not who you are. And then if I try to tamper it down, then it doesn't come off as authentic, and people won't receive my message because they're expecting who I really am to show up. Does that make sense? And who
That
I am, they say, he said to me, and he's like he's on the DMV. He's like from like Upper Marlboro, type, like Washington area. And he said, because you have like a Baltimore accent. I cracked up. I was like, really?
I don't think
He
so.
said in that thing of that Baltimore accent, he says authentic to you. He said it's like your little twang.
Huh.
Is that
Yeah.
what?
Oh,
Yeah.
the biggest lesson I think that I learned, because we all kind of do that when we first get into business, is we like try to show up as the adult in the room. We're like, wait, I gotta straighten up and
Right.
show up as the adult. But when I showed my quirks, that was the part that people would remember, right? So me being kind of casual but professional, but kooky, little brainy, a little silly, like all of those things. That concoction of that makes Monica are the things that people remember. Even those are the things you're like, oh, I got to smooth that out in order to not let people see that side. But that was the stuff that people remembered the most about me when it came down to recommending me, like, oh, you'll love her. She's so down to earth. And so, she's got this honesty, and she's just real cool people. And her energy is this way. Had I probably leaned into that earlier, like you were saying, leaned into the just showing up as who I am earlier, how much further could I have gone, right? How much more could I have gotten? And, some of it is about wisdom, right? And as we get older, we get to kind of like lean into the wisest parts of us. And that with a little bit of that aging comes the comfort of being, well, you know what, I don't really care about what y'all think. I am who I am. You can either take it or leave it. It is what it is, right? But if we could actually just start encouraging ourselves and other people to realize that nobody's worried about your stuff because they're too busy worried about their own. They're too much in their own head. So you just show up as you, do you, and you'll be fine. I think it would go a long way. And it does lend to this conversation about customer recommendation, in that they're only going to recommend you if they feel that they can trust you. And the only way they can trust you if who you say you are is in alignment with who you show up as. And the only way that can happen is if you're actually being authentic. So,
Mhm.
love this conversation. It's my job to keep us moving. Y'all too took it off the rails. Just saying. Just saying. So, we are going to get into our next topic, which is to keep networking, and y'all have already kind of started the networking party, so I'm not completely mad at it. But we want to really kind of tap into this whole conversation about customer recommendations. And so, as you're thinking about your networking and customer recommendations and all those stuff, and Stephanie has already alluded to a lot of, you better get it on video. Who else should you surround yourself with when improving your customer recommendations? Like, who do you need to ask for help? Here at Mink Life Motivation, when we say networking, it's not go out and pick, here's my card, let's network, but more so, who do I need to ask for advice? Who do I need to surround myself with so that I can continue to level up into the next level, which is kind of where we are in this space. So I'm going to start with Stephanie. Who should we surround ourselves when we're kind of trying to improve our customer recommendations?
Other people that you're already working with that are already you're growing with. And I was thinking about, as you was before you even began, I was thinking about Peggy. Peggy, we all, when we came into this group, when I first got into the group, before my very first conference, we were provided an opportunity, right? Provided, boom, in the link, it said, hey, if you would like to get blah, 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 write some help with your lighting and your headshots, contact Peggy. I'm like, look, oh my goodness, bing, I made my appointment. And since then, I've been telling like everybody, when they, well, wonder if you better call Peggy. I mean, sometimes we don't, I'm on the conference and I am in the middle of, and I'm noticing my lighting is going crazy. I am in the chat texting Peggy, I'm going to fix that lighting. Did you notice I fixed it? I mean, that's accountability. But here's the deal. That's networking.
Mm-hmm.
That's look, sharing is caring. If you find something that it's somebody that works for you and they are like on the money, and like you said, I was drawn in not only by the fact that she provided awesome service. She's a professional, but that she was very personable. She was very relaxed. I felt comfortable. I didn't felt judged. I felt like somebody that was like, listen, even today, like, okay, get it together, Stephanie. I knew that Peggy was going to be like, you don't get it together. I taught you better than that. So those are the examples. So I'm like her walking billboard. I'm doing referrals live and in person everywhere. And that is the type of the people that's already in your circle. Work with them.
Without being asked, I'm going next because I want to add to what you said. I want to build on that. And that is also part of networking is what can I give to you? Not just what you can give to me, but see how that works. I gave something to Stephanie and now she's a raving fan of mine and she's giving back to me. So see, that's literally the best example for this conversation is what just happened. So I did, how can I help you look your best on Zoom? Like everybody has like emergency. Oh my God, my light went out. What are we gonna do? Okay, it's okay. We can figure it out. We can get that. We got this. We got 15 minutes. We're good. So and that's really what can I do to help you? And that's the thing that people forget when they're networking. They think that networking is about give me, give me, give me, buy from me, tell your customers to buy from me, tell your friends and family to buy from me, and that's not it. How can I help you? That's what networking is. And when you come from that giving, then look what just happened. It could not have been a better example of what I was already going to say. Thank you.
Yeah, our co-hosts on the couch are like,
I know
baby.
they're on fire over there. They're like, Stephanie, come back. So I'm going to add one more thing about who you surround yourself with. That has been alluded to. It's of course you're going to help the other person, things like that. It's all of the collaborations you can also sort of cook up. You know what I mean? I networking connected Monica and I. And then Monica was like, "Hey, I need to look at something." I was like, "Okay, okay, 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 okay." Finally, COVID. All right, I'm ready. I had nothing else to look at, right? So that that power of in your network, someone's good. Really lean in. If they're like, "Hey, I really want to show you something," because maybe they do have an offer or something that think we could do. I'd love to do this together with you because you know this, I know this. Wouldn't it be powerful if we could go and do X, Y, and Z? And I tell you that that's another form of service and collaborate. In a way, it's sort of like our messages are amplified if we utilize each other. And so that has definitely been proofs in the pudding about Mink Life living in this space like that, and really getting people to not be afraid of that. Like that is like one of my like, oh, you should come over and do this thing with us. And they're like, oh, like, well, what? I'm like, just come on, it's fine, So that is the beauty of this community, and that's the beauty of that power of surrounding yourself with people that you think I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm like, yeah. I mean, I even can think of a collab to do from my health perspective with Peggy. She hasn't heard about it yet, but I've been thinking about it. I've actually been meaning to tell you. So this is like one of those things. Like if you're sitting around in the space with people, ideas just sort of start flowing and you start finding ways to work together and being together and changing lives together, which is what we all do.
Yeah, one of the best parts about being in the Mink Life Motivation community is I get to be a billboard for all the people who are in the community, and I get to be that cool person who knows a person, and so then I'm the person who other people come to in order for me to like help them out. And one of the reasons why is because we get an opportunity to, even if you don't use their products, well, actually what happens is we help each other and then we're like, but wait a minute, I needed that, so let me go ahead and be your customer too. But just being in service of the people who, in our community, it gives you an opportunity to really know what they do, because people tell you what they do all the time. My brother does something in insurance, I think. I'm not sure exactly what he does in
We
insurance.
talked about this.
I couldn't tell you what he does in insurance. I know the company he works for, and I know he's in insurance, right? I've not helped him in his particular business per se, but when he came to me and he's like, "Hey, I need help with my nonprofit organization." Then at that point, and I was helping him through it, then I became a recommender of him because I was working in the trenches with him on building it. And then it's like, hey, he has this challenge-based nonprofit where people like are like competitive about doing good in the world. That sounds like so much fun. Other people should do this too. And then you kind of get in this space of just giving and telling people about it. And so a lot of people, Leanne, who is our virtual assistant who runs the conferences, she always says, be careful of Monica because she can easily break your business because she'll tell everybody about you. And if you're not ready for it, they come in, you better be ready. And so, I've heard her say that recommendation for me in front of other people all the time because that's how she felt. But I recommend her so often because I love her services, right? So it becomes this mutually beneficial kind of back and forth when you are surrounding yourself with people and really kind of being in service of them. Then they love you, you love them, and then every time you go somewhere, you're like, oh, I got a person for that. Oh, I got a person for that, and it becomes this community. It becomes this tribe of people that are just always recommended. I don't know how many times Andrea comes out of my mouth a week. I don't know how many times Peggy comes out of my mouth a week. I don't care how many times Irina doesn't like it. I tell people about her stuff too. I completely believe that when you become in service of the person, even if it's not something you can personally use yourself, right? But you just become a part, like, how can I help you get your message out there? Then you end up creating opportunities like this. You end up having these people who are like talking about you behind your back in the best possible way all the time. And you get to live in a love fest and you get to sit in that chair with other people talking about you. Like, oh yeah, three other people said I was supposed to be here to meet with you, so I'm here now. And what's that? That came from that networking, and it came from being of service to other people. So I highly recommend it. Looks like we are covering this thoroughly.
And I know I don't have permission to interrupt, but taking it anyway. So Irina, in one of her comments earlier, said, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you who you are," or something to that
I
effect.
know that. I was hoping she would put it on the screen. I was going to say
And
that was
I
awesome.
was like, that's exactly it, because who you're going to draw the like-minded people around you, and look at all of us.
Right.
Of course we recommend each other because we love each other. We all think we're awesome
Right.
because we see the integrity, we see the trustworthiness, we see the hard working, we see that every single one of us would just drop what we're doing and give, whatever it can. Like if I called Monica and said, "Hey, I need blah blah blah," she would be at my house in 20 minutes if that was the case it needed to be. And it didn't matter if it was 3 in the morning, she would be at my house in 20 minutes. And
Wow.
that's how it's easy to recommend people like that. So it says a lot about who you are as who you recommend, because those are the people that you're going to hang out with. So it also is a good recommendation on me that I hang out with you people. This amazing group of powerful, inspiring, women and men. There's men in our group.
Yes.
They pop in
Yes.
once in a while. There's a few strong men strong enough
Exactly.
to handle us, that pop into the group once in a while. But it says a lot about me because this is who I surround myself with.
Oh, yeah.
So it's also a statement of my integrity that this is the community that I keep. So
Absolutely. Our co-hosts on the couch are going in.
I'm looking at them.
Enjoying.
Monica,
Monica is
I'm like Peggy. I know I don't have the permission to interrupt. I got to come in. So I'm going to tell you. Listen, I am here in the Awesome Mink Life Motivation because of a networking, because of somebody who was so inspired by Monica. Chris Hampton was like the staff.
Yes.
Like we became like you all. I followed Chris for a long time. Think, oh my God, I gotta be like him. He's just awesome. We finally connected in another group, and he was like, "I'm just so proud to talk with you." And I'm like, "Huh? I'm following you." He said, "Well, I'm following you." It's like it's back to Monica, where you think I'm just old Stephanie, right? To him, I was Stephanie Wall, speaker Stephanie. To me, I was like, she's on the phone, right? So, but he told me, Monica, you gotta get. Oh my God, you gotta meet Monica. He went on and on. He sent me the link. He made sure he sent me everything to a little clip and everything. So here's the deal. And then when I met with Peggy, guess what Peggy talked about? Monica. So I'm going to tell you how other you are changing and you influence other people in a way that you may not even ever be aware of. It is something that's innate, and and you are the nucleus between everybody here because we all here because of you, Monica.
I
So just
drag some.
know that I know I say every day. Every time I open my mouth, I'm convinced that I'm changing the lives of 1 million people, and I believe that you are doing that and plus 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 more. Because if I'm
Oh,
changing 1 million lives, and I'm one person, and
well,
you're providing the platform. I always think about my her story, our story. Somebody told me, Stephanie, stop inviting people on your show that
Yeah.
right that do what you do, and I was like, why? Do you know I can't outgive? I'm a person of faith, so I can't outgive my faith. So I don't charge people to come on my platform because I believe that I can't serve everybody, and neither can you. But you are that person. Like you are so giving, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, I talked with you in my interview. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I found my kindred spirit. She's like me. I mean,
yeah,
I'm
I
like the
felt the
whole
same
time
way
I'm
about
listening to
you.
you. I'm like, she's me. She wants the most for everyone. And this, I mean, even all the stuff you all provide. Some days I'm like, wow, I can't even believe that I'm in a group that I can get all of this and everything I need. I think everything. I really believe this that every area of my business and personal life, quite frankly, there's somebody within that circle, somebody in there, across the globe. People, if you're watching, let me just say this. I got to get this plug. If you are not connected
She's
to this
preaching.
group, you are doing yourself a disservice. Everybody wants to talk about being international. That's another thing, Peggy. I'm international. Everybody wants to be global. But if you are not truly connected to people internationally and globally, I mean, they know you, they know your name, they know how to connect you, and you really changing the world through each other and supporting and doing collaborations, then you're just pretending, and it's time to take off the mask. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
As they say on Clubhouse, and I am done.
For
I'm
now,
complete.
that girl, preach, preach, preach. See, this is another thing about Baltimore. People can preach.
Yeah,
Something
I
about
felt like I needed a handkerchief to wave
I
it
know
off.
get on the
Like,
van.
get you a church fan like, amen.
Got the
Yeah.
fan going.
See, this is
Well,
all kinds of problematic because I'm supposed to keep this thing on the
I
rails,
know,
and
and
then
I
y'all
gotta go
y'all
do
just
another
grieved
call.
me for a
I'm
little
like,
while so you could keep
I'm
talking. That's
I
really
sorry.
what
have
was
to come back.
happening.
and Andrea's like, I have an
I
appointment
have
that
an
I have to go
appointment.
through, so we have to be on time today. That ain't
I'm
happening.
like, I have a meeting I'm running in 12 minutes. Like, I gotta get like,
I'm sorry.
that's okay,
Well,
Stephanie. This has been soul food, so to speak, right before Thanksgiving. So
Oh,
couldn't I couldn't uh have wanted anything more. Like it is truly like tomorrow's Thanksgiving, spirit of gratitude. We're gonna make Monica cry, but you are so on point. That is so true. I just we're off the rails, so it doesn't matter. But my last minute, I'm out here. I'm like before I get off the mic because I gotta go. It's like this. It's
well,
like this.
drop your one tip in there while you're at it, so that way you
So
can
it is
cover all the
like this.
bases.
It's like that old saying. It's like how did you make that person feel? This is all about. Like, how did you hold them in space? How did you make them feel? What did they leave with? And if it's all good, look at this chat with all of our crazy friends, preaching. And we have a guest because I think paired means coming through some other channel, which I think it might be one of the ones I'm broadcasting to. So identify yourself, paired person from the Facebook. We would love to know your name because it doesn't tell us. But that is amazing. Like that, holding that space for people. And If Mink Life does nothing else, it does that. And the conferences do that. And to your point, Stephanie, about international, being in this community, the birthday greetings I got from people I've spoken to once. And it's a little thing like that, or all the messages, vocal ones, like they took the time to actually say happy birthday, Andrea, blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm
A
not their
day in
bestie.
advance as well because they were in Australia and it was already your birthday.
No, but the point of the matter is they didn't have to. They didn't
Yeah.
have
I love
to,
that.
right? They didn't have to. Like, it goes past just, oh, let's collab, let's talk, let's be on a panel together, let's do a podcast together. It goes past that. It goes to COVID put humanity so much closer together, and if
Yes.
led in the right way, what a powerful thing it can be. So, then one tip is, make your connections, make them strong, love your peeps, and it all comes right back around to you.
Oh,
It's all good.
love it.
So,
Perfect.
all right, loves. If you're like gonna
Hands
say,
in
well, how to
Canada.
find me, tell them to go like, subscribe to my YouTube channel for my 53 days of wise woman wisdom. I need subscribers. I'm trying to get
Yes.
subscribed.
Yes.
So bye, y'all. Love you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your
Happy
meeting.
Thanksgiving. Okay, so while I try to put this car back on the rails, let's dive into our last part, which is gain knowledge. And that is essentially our lightning round for us to be able to give you one tip to make all of this worth it for you. And we are, Peggy,
Oh, do you want me to go first? Nice. Okay.
I think you might have been alluding to you wanting to go first, so go ahead.
Be authentic. Just own who you are, and just be authentic. That's it. That's my one tip. Lightning round. Now, Stephanie, it's all on you.
Build the relationship first. Whatever you do, go out there to make the person feel like you, the number one, know who you are. You take the time to find out who they are and what it is they need. Passion or pain. Are you gonna give them something that they're passionate about? Are you providing a service they're passionate about? Or are you gonna relieve a pain? Build relationships and everything else will fall into place.
And my one tip is actually know your mission and make sure that everyone in your network, including your customers, understand that. Stephanie said we bonded over the 1 million lives in we were going to change 1 million lives, and with the two of us working on that, it's definitely going to happen. But to get all of the rest of the community involved in that as well, can you believe it? We probably going to have this done by the end of 2022. We can sit back and drink together at that point, tip our teacups together or something. But really sharing your mission with everyone, including your customers, letting them know exactly what it is you're trying to achieve and how you're trying to help people really does go a long way for the recommendations. That's how Stephanie got here. That's how a lot of the people in this community got here, was literally by doing that. So that's my one tip. And at this point in time, it's my favorite part of the show, which is announcements, announcements, announcements. So you
Ooh,
get to figure out exactly how to hang out with our girl Stephanie. And so Stephanie, how can people connect with you? What are you working on? What should they
ooh.
show up for?
Oh, so many goodness. Okay, so you all coming soon. Coming soon. There's a challenge. A challenge is called Transform Your World. Let your voice be heard. Because I realize the world, you all know the world is changing. The world is changing, and you have to be able to use your voice. And many people are not progressing in their lives because they are afraid of public speaking. So I have a 5-day challenge. It's coming, and it's called the Transform Your World. Let your voice be heard 5-day challenge. That's one. Number two, many people want to be coached. They want to be coached. They want to be coached. You got to take advantage right now. Right now, you can take advantage of the Black Friday, pre-Black Friday sale to have a 30-minute session with me. Yes, just go into my link. It's right. It's everywhere. It's in me. I'll put yours in there. That's that. And then, of course, and finally, you can always reach me on speakerstephanie.com. If you want to do business, if you want a speaker, if you want to be in a coaching group, you want to be in a 1 million lives transformed membership group, drop me a dime. If you just want to hang out and you need to just have a strategy session, same place, speakerstephanie.com. Look forward to working with you. How can I serve you?
Yay, Peggy! What's going on in your world?
I am just doing the same thing I've always been doing, working on getting people amazing first impressions, helping them understand how to use their headshots as the biggest part of their marketing strategy. Your profile picture is something that we all have to have, so let's put some thought and intention into it. You can find me at headshotstrategist.com, headshotsbypeggy.com, link app /Peggy. Schedule a free consultation. Let's talk about how I can help you. Even if you're not local to LA, I can still give you all the tools you need to understand how to use your headshot in your marketing.
Oh wait, no, that's not it.
London is over. The conference is
There
over
it
for
is.
this year.
I found it. I'm working with no glasses today, guys. So, yeah. So, I always have announcements for you, as there is always something brewing in the Mink Life Motivation universe. And what I would like to tell you is the next phase, the level up. We've been talking about level up for a year and a half, and now it is time for us to level up in some huge ways. So, we have the community, we have the courses, and we have the conferences. But what I want you to know is that we have taken it to the next level. What's next? Well, I'll tell you. The next thing that is up is we want you to go into our community, the Minkubator. Yes, honey, we are there 6 days a week to help you clear your to-do list by using time-focused work segments to help you free up your time so you can do what you love to do in your day. We want to help support you by hanging out with me or the other trainers. You can also do work with coworkers or work independently, but just know you are not alone in your business, and you can make sure that no task is left undone by increasing your life and business. And we are announcing the Activate Symposium. Yes, the very first Activate Symposium is going to be January 23rd through March 3rd. It is 24 days, 24 roundtables, 24 courses, and 72 lectures by people like Stephanie Wall, coming to help you really tap into all of those things. You are not going to want to miss this, because we are going to activate your zone of genius. And if you are a speaker and you want to be a guest lecturer, you want to join us. We are finally here, people. It is happening. We are actually going to, at the end of the show, we made it. We did it. It happened. We kept this on the rails long enough to get here to this point. So I want to give you a opportunity I want to give an opportunity to thank Stephanie Wall for being here. Love you, sis. I don't know what's happening. We've been having all kinds of tech issues today, but also want to thank Peggy and Andrea for being here on the show and really supporting us through all of these things. And I want to remind all of you to make sure, we're just going to go ahead and just let that go. We're just going to let it go. That's the beauty of live television here. To let you know that you have the power to activate within. Please, 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 if you know someone who could use all of this, please know that sharing is caring. And I want you to just, our co-host on the couch, we could not do the show without y'all. So thank you so much for being there and adding the extra love and the flavor to this. Hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, check out everybody's things, as the best thing you can do is to share, because sharing is caring. We will see you next week with a new topic, and we'll be wrapping up this season of Mink Life Motivation next month in December, where we'll be increasing awareness. You're not going to want to miss that. All the good conversations. See you next week. Bye.